Original movies are back. This year has been the biggest year in indie horror since, well, probably since ever. Markiplier made Iron Lung, Curry Barker and Kane Parsons went back to back and created the new Barbenheimer for horror fans called Back Session. Even last year, the Philippou brothers made Bring Her Back, and it was incredible. So where do they find all these YouTubers that just make incredible movies out of nowhere? And why are they all horror movies? Well, let's get into it. This is not just some unheard phenomenon though. A young creative director making a horror movie that is incredibly successful and launches a big career? Well, let's look at the past. We had Saw, Paranormal Activity, Get Out, Talk to Me, just to name a few. So why is this? Why does horror keep doing this when no other genre comes close? The first reason is simple. For most big budget films, a huge selling point is well-known actors that get people into seats. Horror movies often don't have to rely on this though. The genre has extremely dedicated fans who go to watch a movie without needing an IP, A-list actors, or big marketing campaigns. The concept is the big star here. Then there's word of mouth, which I think gets massively underestimated. People talk about crazy jump scares, cool cinematography, insane performances, scary moments. Obsession, for example, just did something no film has done since E.T., which is to grow its box office for 3 consecutive weeks. But the reason I find most interesting is what a low budget actually forces you to do. Creativity becomes the driving force here. Let's get back to Obsession. There are so many moments where incredibly creative filmmaking makes the movie come alive. During the bedroom scene where Nikki is watching over Bear, they used uncanny valley makeup on her face to make her seem more disturbing. Where a lot of bigger productions would have reached for CGI, the budget said no, and the result here is much better. Another example is the use of speeding up and slowing down footage to make Nikki's movement feel unnatural. It almost feels like she's a marionette being controlled by something. And it was achieved by simply playing with the footage. And maybe my favorite creative choice is the use of shadows. Throughout the film, Barker was not afraid to let darkness take over. The store scenes, which would normally be brightly lit, are much darker, creating natural shadows that make everything feel more grounded and more creepy. But my favorite scene is when Nikki knocks on the door and delivers a monologue just outside the door, and we can't see her face at all, just her glistening eyes. I was constantly trying to guess what her expression was and what was coming next. And all of this was achieved by a masterful use of shadows. Horror also attracts actors who want to prove themselves. From Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out to Indy Navarrete now in Obsession, the genre gives actors room to get weird, to go deep, and to prove themselves. The horror genre is a place where as an actor you can get creative and weird and show off your acting chops. So why is all of this happening now? Well, it's YouTube. From the Philippou brothers to Markiplier to Kane Parsons to Curry Barker, all of them built their craft online before they even touched the film set. As a YouTuber, you get instant feedback. You look at your comments, your analytics, and you find out immediately what works and what doesn't. Barker made hundreds, if not thousands of videos before he ever made a feature. That's thousands of small lessons about what makes an audience keep watching or click away. And on top of all of this, they arrive with a community already built in. So when the movie drops, the marketing campaign is basically done. Like Jason Blum, CEO of Blumhouse, said,
"Their hope, desire, and dream is to make cool movies. And Backrooms and Obsession are edgy and weird and fucking nuts." And to me, there's almost this feeling of the 70s of like this new generation of young people who are making edgy movies that are connecting in theaters in a crazy way. So many young people who didn't grow up in a time when you couldn't go to the movies, and they haven't had something for them to go get out and get off their iPad and go see the movies. Suddenly they have 2 movies. Obsession, this weekend, it went up 20% from last weekend. Last weekend, it went 30% up from the opening weekend. No movie has done that, has gone up 2 weekends in a row since E.T.
Every YouTuber spends years obsessing over attention. How do I keep someone watching? How do I build anticipation? How do I create the curiosity gap? And those all translate perfectly into horror skills. Take a look at Kane Parsons. Before Backrooms became a movie, it was basically a series of weird and creepy ideas. Every video was built around tension. And Curry Barker's videos weren't teaching him how to direct a historical drama or a romance. They were teaching him how to hold an audience's attention for more than 10 seconds, and then 10 more. and then 20 more. It's these things that are exactly what you need for a horror movie. In some weird coincidence, YouTube might be one of the best training grounds for horror filmmakers. And not only because it teaches cinematography or screenwriting better than film, but because it teaches the one thing horror does not work without: keeping people on the edge of their seats. I would also add that weirdness matters. Both Barker and Parsons lean into this fully. There are moments in these films that could pull you right out of the movie, but they don't. They're fully committed to being weird and trying new stuff, and they get rewarded for it. There is also something about how these directors understand the audience they're making films for. Obsession is set in modern day, but it doesn't make a big deal out of it. Barker just drops these small moments, a text message here, stalking someone you like on Instagram at night, and also some insanely funny fake ChatGPT prompts. And these all tell the audience that the people understand who they are making the movie for. This level of detail, the cultural fluency, is something you build over years of making content for the same exact generation you're now making films for. So to conclude things, horror has never asked permission to let new people in. The genre has always been where hunger is more important than a resume. What's changed though is the path these filmmakers take to get to the top. It used to be film school, or years of working your way up from starting as an assistant. Now it's a YouTube channel with 10 years of uploads and a comment section that keeps you on your toes. Curry Barker didn't just sneak into Hollywood, he just kept making things until people in Hollywood started to pay attention. And then of course he goes and makes an incredible film. Not just good for a YouTuber, just an amazing film, period. So be it Curry Barker or Kane Parsons, they didn't take this traditional route. They kept making things until the right person noticed, and they both made fantastic movies. I'm also sure there will be a lot more filmmakers that will follow their footsteps, and I very much look forward to this new generation of filmmakers. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.